All right, y'all. Gnostic Jah. We're going to call this one Collective Delusion. And this is something that I've been wanting to make a video on, but, yeah. So, first question. How do we know anything? Where do we know this from? Where is it from? Where does it come from? If I ask you, do you understand me? And you say, yes, I understand you. How do we know we understand each other? If I say, are you full or are you still hungry? And you say, I'm hungry still. Or I'm full. How do I know that you're full or you're hungry still? If I say, I love you, and you say, you love me too, how do we know we love each other? You know? And it's probably someone that could answer these questions. They probably have some answers they'll make up, like, oh, I love someone because I buy them gifts and and I spend time with them and we hold hands and we make love. So of course I love them. But how do you know any of that even means that you love someone? Yo, I'm gonna fuck people's heads up, I swear. That's why I ain't want to talk about this, because this shit that will fuck people's head up. Like, this is the shit that, that's what I'm saying, because the thing about the collective delusion is that, like, we all signed an agreement, an unconscious metaphorical agreement to say, yes, we're gonna just all pretend all these words mean, we don't even know if we all think the same, like we all feel the same way towards meanings of words. But anyway, we're all gonna choose to believe in these words, and we're gonna use them to say things and tell other people stuff with the words so that we can understand each other. And all that, what I just even said, how do we even know that? How do we even know that the purpose of the words? I mean, I guess we could say, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, all of these questions it's just a poke, you know? These aren't questions these are like, would you say, high questions or something. These aren't like like questions that I would really want answers to. This is more questions to explore and then open yourself up to how delusional this world really is and the meanings and associations we put to things that aren't even really there. It's insane. Like, how do I know someone understands me? How do I, because I felt understood, but then I'm choosing to feel understood, just like how I choose to feel misunderstood. And you might say, no, you know someone understands you because, you know, they really empathize with you and they really put themselves in your shoes. But how can somebody put themselves in your shoes all the way if they in their own body and they got all their own memories and their own reference points to what things mean to them and symbolize to them? And it's not to say that even in spite of that, there can't be this objective, universal understanding. I believe that still exists. And I believe that the words that we use, they lend a hand in us being able to express that coherently. But it also puts up a blind spot where there isn't much room to question if the meanings we associate to the words are really what we think. And that layer, it goes into a layer. See, most people won't want to go there because it gets too much into ambiguity. And that's the thing. You know, that's how we're all controlled, because like a lot of this life is pure ambiguity. It's pure gray area. Like, there's so many things that aren't just black and white, but this world thrives off of the colors black and white, because the two extremes, it's usually seen, the two poles, extremes of the poles seem to be where people really want to That's what people seem to always be geared towards, instead of the ambiguity which truly exists. But see, that just blows open the whole self-identity, self-preservation, this whole idea of who you think you are and what this world is and the people that you know and what it all means. And you don't want to do that. You want to just live your vague, simple, what you see everyone else do, plain life, You want to get the car, you want to get the crib, you want to get the house, you want to get the wife or the husband, or you want to get the, all this stuff, have kids, all this stuff. Or you don't want to do any of that stuff, and you want to be a party animal, and you want to go party, you want to go fuck bitches or fuck niggas, and just don't give a fuck about nothing, and whatever. All of these things were still created. And not by me. I didn't create any of this stuff. I'm just observing it all while I create what I want. So, and that's another thing where I say this collective delusion, because who's to say I agree with any of this stuff? What if I wanted to make up my own language? And it's like, hey, who's to say that I can't? Right? Okay. But how many people am I going to get to speak this language with me? I mean, I could probably get a lot of people to speak this language to me, but when does it get to a point where my language is considered the language of the land? How soon do I create, instead of English, we go with Jackalif speech? How soon do we get there? Where I just come up with my whole own language and everyone's just literally speaking my language and not theirs. But even then, that literally goes back to the same problem. Or not problem, but the same thing that I'm kind of exploring. It's like, even if we all spoke this language that I created, how do we know? None of these things are avoidable in life. As long as we try to strive and figure things out and uncover and discover and adventure, we're never going to get to that. And who's to say that would even be a good thing anyway? But it's just to notice, like I've noticed that, in conversations that I'd have with people, and I'm like, yeah, at some points in the conversation, I feel like we're like eye to eye as far as everything we're talking about and our understandings of it and our pretty much our overall consensus of how we view things from a certain scope. But then there are other things, or matter of fact, before I even move on to that, sometimes within those conversations where it's like eye to eye, it would still be these little tidbit moments where I'm like, wait, does this person actually even know what the fuck I'm saying? Or am I just talking and they're just like, they're just agreeing to be nice, or they could feel my energy and they know how to like match it or mirror it, but in reality they like the words that I'm saying, they're like, what is this guy talking about? I mean, some people are probably gonna think that hearing this. So it's funny. It's like little things like that like people just overlook. Like everyone just overlooks. Like when you say something to your parents and like they respond in a way that's like that kind of lets you know, yeah, you don't know exactly what I mean by this, but because they're your parent, you kind of just overlook it. Like, oh yeah, they're just kind of being slow, or they're kind of being like, no. What if they have a completely different understanding of things? Like, even because it's like, even if you say, I know that. I know my parents have a different understanding of things. How do you know that? How do you know your parents have a different understanding of things or the same understandings as you, even when they show you they don't? And the ambiguity gets wild. And this is why we're just going to peel this back slowly, because I could go super ambiguous. But, yeah. So let's just say you're talking to your dad, your mom. Like, Mom, there's this new band playing. I want to go see their show. They're selling tickets for $125. In your mind, you got the band, which you have emotion towards, that you love. The money, you either don't have much of, or whatever your relationship, versus your mother, their relationship to money, their relationship to bands and going out to shows. Maybe they don't want you to go out to the show. It's dangerous. Maybe they don't want to give you the money. They don't have it. Maybe, all of these things. And as a kid, you're like, why the fuck? I know you guys have the money. You guys let me go to different places that were probably more dangerous. And I'm like old enough, but at the same time, your parents have their own way of seeing things. And like, yeah, you can from your perspective, you can get that, but you don't know what's going through their mind. Like, you don't actually know what they could think of, boom. As soon as you say concert, they think about the concert they went to where it got shot up. Boom. You say money, they think about a bill they got to pay. They think about how they used to spend money on concerts. All these things that comes up in a person's mind. And then that is what's filtering their response to you. And then you're saying to yourself, oh, I know why my parents don't want me to go. They think it's dangerous. Or they think it's... But meanwhile, it's not even none of that. Your parents they're just going off of the script, whatever was given to them. They're just going off whatever was given to them. And that's what I'm saying. We just overlook it. Like, we just go like as if it's normal. Like, we don't even question why don't we all, like, how are we all human and we see the same things, we hear the same things, we have the same ears, eyes, nose, mouth, but the experience and the way that we choose to relate to it is different. And I feel like that goes deeper than what most people will be willing to explore, because then it kind of fractures their sense of self and how they operate within their social circles or groups or whatever in their relationships to people, because it becomes very obvious how and the reason I say this is the delusion is because no one says anything about it, even though I'm pretty sure everyone has a feeling when things feel, they just feel like there's something more to that, but I just can't put my finger on it, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. I don't know. I like to investigate those things. And I've come up with a couple of answers pertaining to my experience. It's just helped me look at people less personally, because it's like, that's another thing, attachments. The attachments to the beliefs we have about who we think we are and who we are in relation to others and who the others are in relation to us. Once you peel all that back, you start realizing I don't know nobody, and I don't even know myself. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what's happening. My mind is just telling me stuff, and there's a feeling that wants to feel safe, so it believes it, because my mind just is trying to make my body be okay, and my body's like, okay, whatever we have to tell ourselves to be okay. Reality is strange, yo. I had a moment where I was like thinking about the past, and I was like, damn, when I look at shit in retrospect, it's crazy, because life played out completely different backwards than I would have ever thought it'd play out the way that I thought back in a certain point in the past as it played out forward. And it just goes to show life is operating efficiently on its own. It doesn't really need any second opinions, anyone's thoughts or whatever. I mean, we're gonna have that. That's actually a part of it, but just to say, like, shit. I don't know why I'm yawning. It's 4:38 in the afternoon. But probably because I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe I was gonna say maybe because I ain't sleep all the way, but I think I slept pretty good. Anyway. Collective delusion, yo. How do we know anything? But there is a way to know. So, like, I feel like these questions are just to open up the exploration to dig deeper, because I do believe there's an answer to these questions. I just don't think it's the answers that we think they are. Not even myself. That's why I'm asking. And that's why I'm admitting I'm a part of this collective delusion, just like everyone else. We're all telling each other things and telling ourselves things and doing stuff, and and we think we know what we're doing, think we know what we're saying, we think we know how to act, and maybe we do, maybe we don't. I don't know. That's the part of the delusion. It's like we don't know, but we pretend like we know for a fact. It's funny. All right, Gnostic Ja. Peace.